You are watching the Sunday edition.
The Sunday edition.
Yeah, why did I just have a brain fart?
I don't know why you did, but I need you to.
Do you pick it up?
Yes.
Okay, so you're watching the Sunday edition. On today's show, we are going to discuss what Quincy said. Yeah.
He said a lot.
He said a lot. We're also going to get into a lot of white people shenanigans, starting with the reveal of Queen Nefertiti's actual face.
Well, I mean, depends on who you ask.
And what time it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And a lot more. This is the Sunday edition. Hey, we're back. Thank you for staying with us. I am the Revolution, and with me is Miss Ebony Chappelle, writer extraordinaire. How you doing today, ma'am?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. How was your trip?
Good. My trip was good. I spent some time in the ATL this week just catching up on some business stuff, and you came at me on Twitter.
I did.
You came at me about your city, but I don't care. Okay. The traffic is horrendous.
Okay.
Traffic is horrendous. People drive like bats out of hell. I was scared for my life.
Okay.
It was a lot. It was a lot going on, but otherwise, I had a very beautiful time.
Other than the traffic, you had a pleasant experience.
I did. I like the South a lot. Not gonna drive in Atlanta again.
That's fine. That's fine. Everything is fine. We don't mind that.
Yeah.
We don't mind that.
If I can get around that.
We don't mind that in ATL. So, listen. I like banter. I love banter, but this week we have a lot going on. We have a whole lot. So let's jump right into it. First and foremost, let's talk about Quincy Jones's article in Vulture.
Listen, y'all crazy ass Uncle Quincy.
Yeah.
Wow, out. Oh my gosh. So I read the GQ piece that came out before the Vulture piece, and I was just like, oh man, he's really going there. And then this new one drops. And you start off, Michael Jackson is a dirty thief.
Okay. Now
before anything, he's like, he a dirty stealing thief. I'm like, what? Hold on.
Yeah, okay. So, okay. Before you unpack all of this and throw this out, I want to start with the first thing that caught my attention that cracked me up. He said the Beatles were the worst musicians ever.
So
he said the Beatles were the worst musicians ever.
This is what I'll say about that.
Yeah.
I am not a musician.
Okay.
But I appreciate music, and I don't necessarily disagree with what he said.
Yes.
As far as them being like awful musicians, they were extremely popular.
Yes.
They, started a cultural phenomenon, all that good stuff. But if you're talking like putting them up against other just like killer musicians, like it's just not there.
If you put them up against decent musicians, it's not there. Like here's what's funny. Like let's be very serious when we talk about this, right? Quincy said something that was very interesting. He said, "Hey, what was them that band that Eric Clapton had?" And they were like, "Cream, yeah, them boys could play." And guess what? If you listen to Cream could play, man. Eric Clapton, them boys.
Well, I mean, he's a guitar guy, so I'm
listen, Cream was amazing, and he said Paul was a terrible bassist. Let me say this. listen. Let's be very real.
It was rough.
I don't think it was very rough. It was life affirming for me because to hear a virtuoso of the last, how many years has he been in the game now? 60.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like he's 80.
I would even go into say 70s because he started as a young child.
Yeah,
like he was not even old enough to be doing what he was doing.
Right, he was very young. So So I feel comfortable saying, let's say 60. Right? Let's say 60. He's 85. He will be 85. So he says this, and I've always said that like I listen to their music became popular because of production techniques. And that was George Martin. George Martin is the one who introduced a lot of the breaking and cutting edge production techniques that the Beatles were associated and known for in their music. And then obviously the songwriting ability of Paul and John. Outside of that, them niggas was basic as hell, fam.
Really, it's like you just paying the rest. Like, I think there's a funny episode of The Simpsons for all my Simpsons fans. Marge, before she was Marge Simpson, Marge Bouvier was obsessed with Ringo.
She used to write him letters, and he finally wrote her back after years.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and that was always just such a funny thing because it's like a little offbeat. Like, she's obsessed with Ringo of all.
Yeah, and that's the joke though. Of all the Beatles, she was obsessed with Ringo. Yeah. And I love that he actually had a comment where he said Ringo could not play. I can't remember what part it was, but it was I wouldn't say a simple set, but it was simple enough that they thought that Ringo was able to do it.
Oh my gosh. So to actually reference that for those of you that haven't read the article, he goes on, they were no playing motherfuckers, worst musicians in the world, etc., etc. I remember once we were in the studio with George Martin and Ringo. Ringo had taken 3 hours for a 4-bar thing he was trying to fix on the song, couldn't get it. They said, mate, go and take a break.
Take a break.
Come back. He comes back. He's like, oh, this sounds good. He's like, because you didn't play it. You didn't play it. We brought in somebody else to play that.
Literally brought in a session musician. And I've watched several documentaries about that, how many session musicians come in, play parts, get paid, and their part is famous.
Yes.
And this guy gets the notoriety, and they got a little check.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I didn't have a whole lot to disagree there with the Beatles.
Nah, that one was pretty dead on.
Okay, now let's move on to probably the scariest thing that he said when he said he knew who killed JFK.
So that blew me. For a few different reasons. Honestly, when you think about it, when you're someone like Quincy Jones, you have literally rubbed shoulders with everyone that's anyone on the planet Earth that's famous, dead and gone over the past 7 decades. It does not surprise me that he knows who killed Kennedy. I feel a little uncomfortable for him that he just casually, it was the one guy. I wish I didn't know that, but I know it.
Right.
And that was kind of wild to me.
You know what made me go, I believe this is because he's a jazz musician first and foremost, right?
Yeah.
He's playing in easily one of the biggest eras for jazz music at its height when JFK is killed in the 60s, right? He's played in New York, he's played in Chicago, he's played in Philly, he's played in Dallas, he's played in LA, and he happens to get killed in Dallas, which is a serious mob town where a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, and he's BFFs with Frank Sinatra. Yes. Come on
so who did he say? Do you have that?
He said that it was Sam Giancana. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong.
Yeah,
my Italian's not good.
Yeah.
The connection between Sinatra and the Mafia and Kennedy. It was about getting those votes. So.
And I've always felt that the patriarch of the Kennedy family, Joe, and that whole thing that he wanted to use his mob ties, because a lot of people don't know that Joe Kennedy made his money with the mafia.
Yeah.
He molasses running from Canada and Cuba. He was an Irish guy. His mother owned a bar / hotel. And he ran a lot of that liquor through there.
Wow.
And then he is the guy who's known for corrupting the stock market. He crashed the stock market.
Wow.
Yeah, he's notorious. He's nefarious. And so his son, who died during the war, competing with Jack, honestly, that was supposed to be the go-to boy. He was supposed to be president. They were grooming him for president. And so after a little bit of reclusion from Joe Kennedy Sr., he came out one day and he said, Jack, you're up. And he pushed him to become president. And in one of the most narrowest margins in U.S. politics history for the president, he won. And, a lot of people assumed that it was Joseph's connection to the underworld crime organization. So,
this would all seem to validate that whole situation.
I honestly think it does. I think that there is the trifecta of the mob, the government, and what did your boy call himself? He's a patsy, and a bunch of patsies. Yeah. You know, that was there to kind of throw you off the trail. But I kind of want to say that, you know, Uncle Quincy is right on this one.
I think he's right. I think he's right. I think he's dead on with.
I think he's dead on
100% of the things he said.
Okay. Now, speaking of dead on.
You guys have a quick comment.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says the Beatles were a manufactured group. Nobody believed the Backstreet Boys were the best singers. The Beatles were that of their time.
Absolutely.
I couldn't agree more.
Absolutely.
I couldn't agree more. And you could go down the list. You have the Backstreet Boys. You have NSYNC. You have One Direction. All these other groups.
All of them.
Manufactured.
New Kids on the Block.
Yeah.
Yes.
New Kids on the Block. I mean,
the Steelers from New Edition. New Edition should have been that famous, but that's a whole other conversation for another day.
Yeah, they were white.
Yeah,
but Maury Starr still put them together. So that just goes to show you that, like, oh, black, oh, that's pretty good. Make it white. Oh, it's a phenom.
Yeah.
You know, here's the other thing, though, right? Like, you had the Monkees, you had the Partridge Family, you had all these groups who weren't real groups who were selling millions of records. So, I mean, the Beatles were at the forefront of that, you know. So, Michael Jackson, let's go right into the one that you started out with, MJ. He clearly, let's start with that. He was a song thief.
He was a song thief. I am a huge MJ fan. We actually share the same birthday.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, I have that connection. But honestly, that didn't. I know that's not a real connection. Let me have my moment, okay? Yes. Let me have my moment.
Okay.
So, honestly, I agree with Quincy here. He would know, if anybody would know, if, you know, these things happen. I believe him. It's unfortunate, but
no, it's not. Let's be real here, right? It's not.
Why is it not unfortunate?
It's not unfortunate because first and foremost, right? I'm glad the Reggie Mathis is watching, right? Anyone that knows me, Joshua, who's my favorite musician of all time?
Prince.
And with that being said, Prince is one of the biggest swagger jackers, song thieving, style thieving, like. Listen. There's nothing new under the sun. You're gonna take a vibe from here. You're gonna take a riff from there. You're gonna take a little swag from that. And some people like Mike, I can believe Mike was like, "That's really cute. I like how he did that. You know what though? I'm gonna take that shit and make it dope. Watch. I'm gonna put a different bass line. I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna grab my junk. I'm gonna put I'm gonna put all that shit on it.
I can't stand you.
I'm gonna put it out.
I can't stand you.
And it's gonna be a hit, and they're gonna all forget about it. Like, okay, here's another one. Michael wasn't the first person to do the moonwalk.
No, but then here's a whole nother thing about that.
Yeah.
Because he was good about pointing out where, like, certain inspirations came from. Like, anybody who's followed him knows, okay, he was highly inspired by James Brown, Charlie Chaplin,
but see,
street dancers.
Yeah, but he never really gave
the
certain
Nicholas brothers
people in his time credit. Michael always went back and said, it was the Nicholas brothers.
Well, like charming. Who in his time?
We were charming. Like, legit, the dude from Shalimar.
Okay.
The dancer from Shalimar, because it was old boy Howard Hewitt, Jody Wiley, your auntie.
My auntie.
Your auntie, you looking like you want to start singing about new love right now.
And she follows me on Twitter, so I was very excited about that because I love Jody Wiley.
Well, there you go.
So, yeah,
you looking real Jody-ish.
Yeah, I've been channeling that whole era lately. I don't know what's going on, but
tell me. Hasta la vista, baby.
You were so petty.
She got the earrings on.
So petty.
Show the earrings. Let's see. Look at the
my big hoops today.
The Jody Wiley hoops.
Jeez Louise. Anyways,
so he had it. He actually did it. I can't. Don't quote me on this, but I want to say Soul Train. I want to say something. He did it. And you know, but you know, like you said, it's been a street dancer move. Like a lot of people, you know, Mike just put the stank on it. He put it on the biggest platform ever, Motown 25.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. It's Michael's now. You know what I mean? It's Mike's now.
Yeah, and it sucks when you have like such huge personalities like that because you mentioned Prince. This is something that Beyonce has also been accused of multiple times. And it's just, I think it's just kind of the nature of the beast. Like you have this enormous talent.
Yeah.
Then this person with all this like allure around them.
Yeah.
And they kind of, I don't know to describe it. I feel like they just like suck stuff up around them, and then it just becomes theirs. Like it's just kind of the way it goes.
Absolutely. You know, one of my favorite musicians, Jimi Hendrix, All Along the Watchtower. Right? You know this song?
I don't.
Okay, it's probably one of his signature records. Mm-hmm. He didn't write it. It wasn't his record. It was Bob Dylan's song. And Bob Dylan was like, "Hey, it's Jimmy's now. It's not my record no more."
It happens like that.
And Jimmy took it and he owned it. You know, and the same thing like with the Motown era. A lot of them were singing each other's songs, but they weren't their songs. It was the Motown writers, and they're like, you didn't make it. Give it to him. And Marvin took, I heard it through the grapevine from Gladys Knight and the Pips, and it was, I heard it through the grapevine. It was all up-tempo. And then there's
a completely different song.
He put that arrangement on it.
Yeah.
He slowed it down. He put that sex on it.
Yep.
And I don't know about that sex because we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Listen, we're going to talk about all the sex.
We're going to talk about all
the sex.
You ready for okay, so and then Quincy came at him for his plastic surgery. And he called him out on it. Listen, everything with the Michael Jackson, I believe it.
I believe it,
I believe 100% that he called him out because he loved him. Like, if I call you out, I love you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
If I call you out, I love you. If I don't, I really don't like you. You know, like, it's like, go run into that brick wall. So,
goddamn.
You know, go run into it.
Hey, it is what it is. And I mean, Quincy was like his dad. Like, Michael wanted Quincy to be his daddy.
Yes.
So, I totally believe they had these conversations about not only him being greedy and not sharing songwriting credits, but, you know, chopping up his face all the time. It's like, why did it have to get to that point? But that's, of course, another conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to the sex then.
Oh, the sex. You
ready to get to the sex?
Yeah.
So, word on these here streets. I can't even get it out, man. You know, and here's what's funny though. I'm not tripped up because of the fact that it is in the realm of homosexual sex on hidden, download, whatever it is that you want to call.
Well, I wouldn't even necessarily call it hidden or down low. Okay. I just think it was not publicized.
Right.
Because somebody had to remind me that Richard Pryor actually alluded to all of this in his stand-up. And I was like, that must have went completely over my head because I don't remember that. Marvin Gaye, that didn't surprise me whatsoever. I think when it comes to like their sexual behaviors and like activities they were into, it was well known amongst the crew if you were in that community. Yeah. But for your average person, they probably wouldn't have known that was going down. But I wouldn't necessarily consider it down low.
No? Oh, well.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't? Well, no. Here's the interesting thing for me, right, is I was very shocked, but Marlon Brando slept with so many black men. That was you know, it's like he just was going around collecting himself some little nigga figurines. Like,
Lord, here we go.
His little nigga sex figurine collection.
I think that it was
James Baldwin.
James Baldwin. I think honestly that it's by nature of the community that he was a part of, because if you go back to that first Quincy interview, like he was around all the time. Like this was like the crew. Like that's who they ran with. He had a preference apparently. He liked black guys. I mean, I'm not gonna knock him for that. Like black guys too. So I'm like, maybe that's just how it went.
So you get it. You get why he was there.
I get it to a certain extent. I mean, that's just the community that was a part of. But then I also wanted to point out that Richard Pryor's widow is backing up these claims. She's like, absolutely, that happened. Yeah. And apparently there are some diaries where he is writing down all of this about like his sex life and all the different, you know, relationships he's been in, and she's going to publish them. I don't know that I necessarily want her to publish this stuff. Okay. Like what? I want to know, did they have a conversation before his passing that allowed her to get to this point, or I don't know.
Well, here, let me maybe it's a parallel to this conversation, right? So I want to know, why is everyone so offended though on social media that Quincy is spilling the tea on this? Because people are like, that, you know, those are dead men, that ain't nobody's business, and it's like, but you all live for Wendy Williams.
Yeah, for her.
You all live for gossip.
And she's on a whole nother level, because when she says this stuff, it has a twinge of homophobia and, disrespect to it. I mean, Quincy was just running off at the mouth. I didn't really pick up disrespect from him. I think
neither did I.
No, I think a big part of the reason why people are so upset is because it's confronting this idea that they have in their head about who these men were, and ideas that they have in their head about what black manhood is. It's like black manhood is like, you can't have a sexually fluid life. Like, that's the antithesis of what they consider, a black man to be. And I just think that that's frankly unfair. And furthermore, it wasn't off base for them anyway. Like, Red Fox, there was actually something I wanted to bring up. Red Fox had a really good friend that actually performed with him a lot. She was a trans performer, Sir Lady Java. Very much so a pioneer as far as trans black women are concerned here in the United States. And that was not a hidden thing. Right. Like, Red actually went to bat for her because in LA, they were saying, okay, you're not allowed to perform. You're not allowed to impersonate a woman and perform that way. So he, stepped up and was doing whatever he could to help protect her. So it wasn't like this was a hidden thing for any of these people. This is how they live their life. It just wasn't publicized for everybody to know.
Well, and here's my thing, right? I looked at this and I said, everyone seems to be very upset, but I thought that this would be something good for the community when you go, hey, here are some heavyweights. These guys are giants. Yeah. Listen, we're talking James Baldwin, literary titan. Yeah. We're talking Marvin Gaye, R&B soul virtuoso. Yeah. We're talking Richard Pryor, the man practically birthed comedy. Yeah. From Richard, it hit the reset button, and everyone else was doing it. And what's very funny about that? A lot of people don't know this, but he and Eddie had a falling out over his stand-up about the gay community.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. Please look into that. He said, Eddie, you're very insensitive. He said, you shouldn't talk like that about that community. And what's interesting is that it's the conversation that I read seemed very edited. I didn't know it at the time, but I was like, this doesn't... I didn't use the word edited at that point in my life. But when I got older and I went back, thought about it, reread it, I was like, this is highly edited. Yeah. And I think that he probably approached him like, how can I be your idol? And I'm this way. And
you're going out on stage and disrespecting this whole community.
This whole... But do you know, Eddie, I'm that way?
And of course Eddie knew. They were so close.
I think he knew probably after that conversation.
Probably.
Well, maybe he probably heard rumblings.
Maybe, but then even Richard Pryor's daughter came out and refuted all the claims about Marlon Brando and was like, that absolutely didn't happen. I don't know what she's talking about. She was not...
Isn't her mother the one with the memoir, with the diaries?
I think that is a marriage after.
Okay, I can't keep all of Richard's white women straight.
Me neither. I can't keep them together.
Keep all his white broads straight.
I can't keep them together. But long story short, she claims that the widow is just using this to try to promote something that she's trying to do. But she did confirm, however, that her father had a trans girlfriend at some point.
Okay, the same difference. Okay, so we got a couple comments here. The Reggie Mathis on this topic. He said Marlon was what they call a power bottom.
What? First of all, how do you even know that?
I could have been somebody.
Oh, listen.
I could have been a power top.
Listen, I'm not gonna get into all of that, but I assumed.
Don't cut off my Brando section.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
No, it's too late.
Go ahead.
It's too late, Jody.
I'm sorry.
You go ahead and do you, Jody.
I was just gonna say I assumed that they were all versatile. Like when I was just making up shit in my head, I'm just like, well, they probably, Yeah. You take Tuesday, Thursday. I take Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I don't know. I'm
gonna give him an orgasm he can't refuse.
Listen, I can't with you right now. Is what I can't do.
You never go against the 5 homosexuals in our club.
Madness.
Never go against them.
Never go against them.
James Baldwin he's actually the godfather of this circle. James,
so
what y'all think this is going on up in here, huh? James is a little.
Listen, yes, he was as raw as they came.
Oh, he was raw.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of the rawest.
Let me had another comment.
Okay.
John Sims, she said the nerve of Eddie. He got Johnny Gill living in his guest house.
First of all, listen, my mom would be so upset right now. My mama still got her crush on Johnny Gill to this day. She is in love with that man. And I'm like, Mama, listen. Let me help you. Let me help you understand.
Mr. Rub You the Right Way was rubbing with the right way.
Hey, that's grown folks' business. That's grown folks' business. No.
You know what I always attributed to? I'm going to tell you this. This is what I called it. This is what I called it for years. Everybody get ready for this. I call it Hollywood vampires.
Hollywood vampires.
Hollywood vampires. Let me explain why.
Okay.
You're a vampire, and you've lived for hundreds of years, right?
Yeah.
After a while, the themes that you were into when you first started out gets boring after a while. You like, oh man, I done had every titty imaginable. I done grabbed them all. I done did everything under the sun. You know what? It's time for me to switch it up. I think I want the taste of some penis.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And you get, that's when vampires, that's why it's always, they're so, vampires are sexually fluid. They come in and they get anybody. They bite you on the neck and it's, they bite people and they just, it's all sexual, right?
Yeah.
So, Hollywood, you get all this money. You first get in, you out here, let me get all the titties, let me get all the bitches, let me get all the hoes. Bring them all to me.
All right, Charlie Murphy. No, that's Rick James. Sorry.
Bring them all to me. Bring them in the room. Right? And after a while, you get bored of that. Okay. And then somebody come in with that penis, and you like, you know what? This don't look so bad right now. Let's see what all the hubbub is about.
You know what? And I think Quincy would definitely agree with you on that point, because for people that are so like gung ho, like, oh, I'm just 100% straight. I'm like, are you sure?
You sure about that?
Are you sure?
Sure about that?
I don't know, but I think more than anything, this has opened up a conversation of people really being real when it comes to sexuality. Like, you cannot, if you do what you want to do. You cannot impose this, whatever it is, upon other people and then make, these crash judgments about who they are just based on who it is they decide to sleep with in their free time. Like,
yeah, okay. Well, now let's talk about crash, what'd you say? Judgments, right? Yeah. And people backing them. So something else was dug up here. Your people on Black Twitter decided to reiterate and say that, since Quincy out here spilling tea, why don't he tell the truth about him molesting Tevin Campbell?
And Tevin Campbell came out and said that was not true.
Like, it's not true, man.
It's not true.
It's not true. Why don't y'all shut up, man?
And my thing is, because I've heard all kind of crazy stuff about Quincy. If you ever get bored, which many of us have, and you go down Black Illuminati YouTube, you are going to run into some very crazy shit. You're going to run into some crazy shit.
All types of shit out there.
All types. And then you just leave and you don't want to watch nothing, you don't want to listen to anything, because you're just like, oh my God, everybody's bad. And then you think about it, you're like, how ridiculous is this? Somebody in a mama basement hopped on YouTube, made a slideshow, but he knows the secrets.
He knows all the secrets.
He knows all the secrets.
I call it Hotep Tube.
Hotep Tube, that's it.
It's Hotep Tube.
Yeah.
So,
it's bad.
It's bad. So to wrap that all up, how on from 0 to 100% being like totally 100, how 100 do you think Uncle Quincy was?
I feel like he was very 100.
Me too.
There's no reason people are like, oh, he's trying to sell, his new stuff that's coming out and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, nah, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think he's just gotten to the point. He has gotten up there in age. Like you say, he's going to be 85 soon. Yeah. He has no reason to shut up about anything. No. In both of these interviews, if you pay attention in fine print, they say it was edited for brevity because they were there for hours on end listening to this man just ramble on about God knows what. And it's all good stuff, so now they have to condense, like, let's try to smash this down into a little bite-sized piece. So I just think he got comfortable and got to running off at the mouth and said whatever came to mind.
You like Brazilian music?
Do I like Brazilian music? Oh, God, here we go.
So, a couple comments here. Let's see here. Deion Sims again. I agree with Ravo for once. I think the celebs get bored sexually and they become trisexual. Tevin was the first person I heard use the term trisexual, by the way. What?
Hold on. Tevin Campbell used the word trisexual?
Hold on. Listen, Deion, send me some receipts.
Yeah, because
I need to
I don't remember seeing that.
See, because he was out here talking about, can we talk for a minute? I want to know if you want to try something.
Hold on, what?
Don't worry about it. So,
like,
you were like, wait, what's happening right now?
What is happening?
You were like, okay,
I'm like,
wait,
I feel like I missed something.
You did. So, Reggie Matthews says Uncle Quincy is 1,000. He is on 1,000.
Yeah.
And we finally given Quincy the mic. Yes, he said he would try anything. Kevin said he would try anything.
In the song?
No, sweetheart. And just period.
Oh,
like,
okay. All right.
So,
okay. I'm sorry.
No
Sometimes
worries.
I need to be caught up.
Absolutely. So, speaking of getting caught up, how's your history been as of late?
My history?
Yeah, do you feel like you're a pretty astute person when it comes to history?
For the most part.
For the most part?
For the most part,
okay.
Yeah.
Question. What is your geography like?
My geography is fairly good.
It's fairly good?
Fairly good.
Okay. Are you competent about the continent of Africa?
I feel like I am.
You feel like you are?
Uh-huh.
Okay. How about just conjecture, pure conjecture here. What would you hypothesize the indigenous population of, let's say, northeast Africa would look like, let's say 10,000 years ago?
10,000 years ago.
Yeah, what do you think those people would look like?
Those people would look like they had been out in the sun for some time.
For some time?
And they, probably had some interesting features, being as though there was a lot of trading going on and mixing of ethnicities and whatnot. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, on the Today Show, I believe this was Monday, some white man was telling some other white people that they have the face, the true face of Nefertiti. Let's see what this reveal looks like here.
Wow.
Show this. What we got?
Oh, it's up there.
Here we go.
Oh, wow. Wow. So this looks like your girlfriend, Ray. It looks like the girlfriend Rachel, like she dressed up for Halloween. Seriously.
Hold on. I don't want no Rachel Dolezal shade on this show.
I'm saying, though, ain't you happy? She looked like royalty. Look at her.
Rachel is royalty. Don't try.
Listen.
Don't try. She's a strong black woman taking care of her black kids.
Listen, and this is a whole nother topic for another day. Not gonna do this with you.
Look at her. She is.
So
yeah.
There's a few things.
Okay, let's talk about it. There she is, right there. She's your queen to be.
Like they say about 45. That's y'all president, not my president, not my queen.
Vision of perfection.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So let's just talk about the guy that was revealing. So they study something called Egyptology.
Egyptology?
It's very, very anti-black school of thought.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So anything with that on it, I'm automatically like tossing away as like it's garbage. The one thing that I think they did, from me reading about this reveal, the one thing that I think they did halfway correct was like her facial structure. They said that they actually took the mummy and put it through this 3D scan, et cetera, to figure out like where her cheekbones were, the way her nose was, et cetera. That, I'm not going to argue with that too much. But the skin tone, that's completely different. That is made up.
It's made up.
Period.
And let me. I really want to get into this. So there's another happening that happened as well. Should we talk about that too, and then go into both of them?
Which other happening
in England?
Yes.
So in England, they actually found a intact 10,000-year-old mummy a long time ago. right? So they've always had it, and they called it the Cheddar Man, right? And this is the Cheddar Man here. And so what happened? I wish that didn't come up because I want to talk about what that devil said. But the Cheddar Man, they actually did his DNA and found that Cheddar Man actually had dark skin and dark curly hair with blue eyes. And so this sent a lot of people into a tailspin. What did that white gentleman say?
Honey, does this tie make my face look pale?
And who is this person?
So I don't know.
That tweeted this.
Yeah, but let's put the next comment up there. Publishing an article, disappearing whites or disprocessing whites of their homelands is wrong, made worse when claiming science to prove whites never existed. I made a joke of it. It's not a laughing matter, so choose to laugh about it. 2/9/18, 7/16 in the prime. Is it prime or post meridian? I never.
Post meridian.
Post meridian. Shut the. Hey! I asked the questions. But then y'all gave me the answer. I just didn't like it. So don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay.
This ain't the time for it. So let's look at this. Hold on now.
Yeah.
Let's look at this. When
there's a lot to unpack.
Science to prove whites never existed. But you all just put out there that Nefertiti is essentially non-black.
Yeah.
And you are saying that science is proving that blacks never existed. We never did anything of importance. We never did any
because
contribution.
aliens built the pyramids.
Oh, you goddamn right, aliens.
And they used their pseudoscience to determine that black people were intellectually inferior.
Yes.
So I'm just like, let's break that down. And then science, I love how it has it in quotation marks. So let's talk about genetics.
Let's really get into the genetic discussion. That's why I asked what I asked. First and foremost, let me ask you this question. The census is taken how many years? Every 10. Every 10 years? Okay. So have you ever looked at the census from, let's say, the 50s?
I have, actually. I was attempting to do on my own my family genealogy, and I went to the local library there's like a separate library where I live, and they have a file cabinet with like census records and things like that. And it was odd because I saw names for groups of people that I never saw before. Instead of it being black, white, Hispanic, like, typical to what we have today, there are all these weird names, and I'm like, what the hell does this mean? What does this word mean? And then you look it up, and it's like quarter nigga, half nigga, whatever. It's crazy.
Quadroon, octoroon, were those some of the terms?
All kind of things like that.
So here's a funny thing, right? If you go and look at the census from, let's say, 1978, 40 years ago, the country looked vastly different than it does today. Listen, you're talking about a country where Islam wasn't even on the register for religions. In the 60s and 50s. Listen, where the majority, like 80% of the population was white. Like, this isn't even 100 years ago. It's not 100 years ago. So here's what's funny. If we go back 10,000 years ago here, in the Americas, what did it look like? It was all what we now consider indigenous, Native Americans, right?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So help me out here. If they were non-white people here 10,000 years ago, why do they persist to believe that 10,000 years ago, everyone in that area looked like they do now? That's impossible.
It's impossible.
You're talking one of the busiest ports in the globe, and you listen. They did not look like that. You're talking about an area where, first of all, the Middle East is a construct of the 20th century. It was called North Africa all the way up until some general decided to rename it the Middle East. Kuwait was not Kuwait. These are all white names. These are all American constructs. Listen, Minneapolis does not look like in the 50s what it looks like today, where every third child is Prince's cousin. They all mixed up there. Everybody is mixed in Minneapolis.
Exactly.
But what is it with science that when they want to prove that a woman is white, And when science proves that something is black, they get upset. Help me.
It's honestly, it comes down to an issue of white supremacy.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is at its core, because when you start to feel white supremacy and patriarchy and things like that, these systems, as we know them today, they cannot exist without things being in their proper place. So without white people, namely white men, having the power, that system starts to fail. I need for this system to work. So I need to be superior. I need for your gods to be white. I need for your royalty to be white. I need for the majority of this population to be white. So when you pointed out about the census, it's why people are getting absorbed into whiteness. People that never would have been white before get to be white now.
Greeks, Italians, Eastern Europeans,
Slavs were not white.
They were not white.
They were not white. Argentinians.
They were not.
Are white. You come here. You come from North Africa. There are people that come from North Africa, come over here to the United States. They are labeled white.
Yep. And they literally separated Afro-Latino. They have literally relegated us to just, you go over there, and then we want all the white ones over here to make themselves stronger. I need for this system to work. If I need it to work, everything has to be white. Period. So every so often they let in people. You got something?
Yeah, this is the interesting thing about that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't mix two people of color and get a white person, right? Like there's no iteration of mixing two people of color and get a white person, right?
Yes, there is.
So there's some.
You will have somebody that's white presenting, but they are not white.
So there's some place in history where white people existed, right?
No.
That just how did that come about then?
Evolution.
So there's some place in history where white people existed, right?
No.
Or else how would we be here right now?
Evolution.
Yes. So there is some place in that evolution where white people existed.
No.
How is that? No.
Evolution.
Can you explain a little bit more?
Okay, well, we've had this conversation before. So let me say this, right? If the cheddar man, right, is a dark-skinned man with curly hair, dark curly hair, and he's the oldest full skeleton in England, what does that say to you? In one of the whitest parts of the known white world, what does that say to you?
That they were there first.
Who was there?
Dark-skinned people.
Okay. So then that's only 10,000 years ago. So when did white people show up?
I don't know.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. Have you seen pictures of Africa? Have you seen Africans with fair skin and blue eyes in various nations? Have you seen that?
I'm sure I have.
Okay. So there's tribes that look like East Asians. There are tribes that look very Asian. With the eyes, they look like they can easily be dropped off in Japan, that they can easily be dropped off in China, right? Okay. There's a bunch of us who have blonde hair. Let's get into, like you said, genetics. There are codes in the genetic makeup.
Right.
They're anomalies, right? Blonde hair is an anomaly. Blue eyes are an anomaly. It's not anything that actually is a white trait. They're anomalies. So if you keep breeding those same types of people with the same genetic anomalies, it then becomes a dominant trait. So I hear what you're saying, but they never existed in the place. So first and foremost, right? So let me ask you a question. What's a group of people of color that have light hair, light eyes, light skin, that have adverse conditions to the sun? Name that person of African descent that have light hair, light eyes, light skin, that have adverse conditions to the sun.
I don't know the answer to that question.
Do you happen to know the answer to that?
They have albinism.
Right?
Okay.
So let me ask you this question. Typically, their hair is a lot thinner. It is very much lighter. You're going to either have red hair, you're going to have blonde hair. You're going to have a varying colors because it's the loss of pigmentation. So guess what color eyes they're going to run into? You're going to start seeing greens, you're going to start seeing hazels, you're going to start seeing blues. So if you have those people who have an aversion to the sun, wouldn't just let, this is conjecture, right? But this isn't hotel. This is actual science.
I was about to say,
it's not hotel.
Please don't go down the hotel
I'm not going
track.
down the hotel because it's just science. Because wait a minute, if you want me to believe that there was a group of people who exited a whole nation and got lost in the desert for 40 years, but somehow ended up in Poland, Russia, Germany, you want to tell me that those Israelites somehow ended up, and people love to tell me how that happened, but at the same time, when I give them this exact same information, how did those people wanted to find a place where they can live, where their skin wouldn't burn, their eyes wouldn't, be pained?
So white people are actually not white?
No.
Okay.
They're not. If everything can be traced back, if science, we're talking science.
Yeah,
We're talking science. If the beginning of civilization started, the cradle started in Central Africa. Started there. And then let's talk about this. Let's talk about Pangea, right?
Yeah.
That all of this was connected at some point, right?
Yep.
So how hard is it to migrate from one area over, again now, let's talk about this, thousands, not even 10,000. We're talking hundreds of thousands of years. Mm-hmm. We're talking hundreds of thousands of years. I do not believe that there is science, and if you want anyone out there that wants to talk the Bible, Ms. Tresnay, please tell me which one of the brothers had a condition and he was thought of as evil.
Was it him?
Thank you.
Yeah, in Genesis. Yeah, I think that was in Genesis. Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, like, you can take us and put together and come up with everything. But there is no two white people can get together and create a dark-skinned nothing. Mm-hmm. Nothing. And so what I'm talking is science. It's not pseudoscience. It's not fringe science. It's science. And I just find it that the sad part is that, like, we could all embrace it and move on and then really have the greatest human existence, because we all understand we're all humans. We can all lay down and procreate, and whatever blood type that you have, we can swap it out and get well, and we can be moving towards a utopia. But no, we can't, because people want to say that they're being erased when your whole existence has been to colonize, rape, and erase. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, every nation, name a nation that historic, waspy white people have not gone into and renamed it and took it over for themselves. Tell me the country.
I cannot give you an answer.
From China, they did it with Hong Kong. They did it with India. They did it with how many nations in Africa?
All of them.
They did it with Australia. They did it with New Zealand. They did it with the Pacific Islands. They did, show me where I'm lying at here. So he's lying, and they're all lying. That woman did not look like that. Sure, her facial features. Listen, she looked just like Lena Horne.
Yeah.
Okay, she looked like Lena Horne.
And it's like, I can buy that, because when you study how the dynasties came in Egypt, like, they started out looking one way, and they looked vastly different once you get to the times of, like, Nefertiti or even somebody like Cleopatra, because there was so much intermixing going on. Yeah. So her structure of her face, I totally buy that, but the skin tone, I'm just, like, questioning heavily. Like, I think that's made up to fulfill this narrative that Egyptologists have about Egypt being completely separate from the continent of Africa.
And let me say this one thing before we have to go into a break, and then J. Cole will join you here for the next segment. These same Egyptologists in the 1900s and into the 19th century and into the 20th, they were notorious for lightening the artifacts that they found. It's history. This isn't any publication. What is it? Brother Shabazz News.com. This isn't that. This is white man's history. I learned this in white man's history. That they go in and that they have changed the color of people because you all bought into this. You all bought into Egypt. You all bought into this Egyptology, that it was you. Because guess what? The places that you wanted to worship crumbled into the sea. Please show me the mighty nation that is Greece. Show me the world power that is Greece. Please show me. I will wait, ma'am. But guess what? The Persians still exist, and they're still they're still powerful. They now are called Iranians, but they're still Persians, and they were powerful way back then. They still powerful now. Run up on a Persian if you want to.
That's not something I would advise.
Exactly. I don't think you should. Okay.
I would advise.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking around. When we come back, Ebony and Jaco will be here talking about shenanigans. About
we got some white people in.
Yeah,
it's going down.
Continued. It seems like
continuing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, stay tuned.
Everybody, welcome back. I am Jaco, joining the lovely Miss Ebony, the writer.
Awesome. It's good to be here with you today.
Yes, I think this is the first time I have been on screen with you. Is that right?
This is the first time.
We are the new look FCN Sunday edition. Just like the new look Cavs, which I was going to talk about. I'm not going to be able to talk about them today, but the new look Cavs,
I'm not a good partner for that because I know nothing about sports.
No,
and I do not care.
it would be an interesting playoff of that, but we're gonna go ahead and skip that topic for today. I'll probably bring that up on True Baller Thursdays with Reggie Mathis. All right. However, I have just been schooled. Before I go into our topics, I have just been schooled on a lot of racial history. But it was a great piece of information from the Revolution, and it made me realize that I'm a black man.
High five.
So
welcome home.
For all you black women out there who wouldn't date me because I wasn't black, I am.
Surprise.
Just call me Joshua Dolezal.
Joshua Dolezal. Oh my God. I can't handle it. Listen, that's your girlfriend, and we are going to continue to clown her.
I am now some black woman's boyfriend.
It's exciting. It's exciting times.
We'll see what possibilities come about.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, I will, for sure. I'm sticking with this line.
Okay.
It's going to work. So, anyway, getting off of black people, let's get on to white people.
Yeah,
because these people are white. I mean, like, whatever the explanation was, you take a look at these women, they're white.
Yes.
So, Kim Cattrall, Sarah Jessica Parker.
It's rough.
Listen.
It's rough.
I don't know if I've ever seen such a straight up, direct, catty response from two former, celebrity coworkers than with Kim Cattrall. I actually left my documentation behind the desk, but basically,
I can pull it up for you. I have the receipts
if you have her
ready.
Actual, here we go, right here.
Oh, okay.
So here, and there's
Thanks,
actually producers are on point up in here. I'm gonna run down a quick timeline. I'm gonna do this real quick of their supposed beef, right? Because it's been going on since Sex and the City.
It's real. It's a real beef.
So December 2004, there was rumors back then, right? May 2008, fans were delighted when Sex and the City returned, bringing the ladies to the big screen. So the movie came out. But all of a sudden it was delayed because of salary negotiations, right? So, of course, there's some stuff coming up. Sarah was getting more than the others, blah, blah, blah. December 2009, again, it says, Cattrall and Nixon attended the NYC premiere of Sarah Jessica Parker's movie, Did You Hear About the Morgans? Right? And Cattrall is saying, oh, she shines. She allows you to shine as well. So throughout this history, Kim Cattrall is denying and trying to support. Right. She's denying beef and supporting Sarah.
She's being a very good movie star.
Okay.
Preserving her image.
And this is what the Revolution said. She was being a professional.
She was.
She was being a professional. So May 2010, you know, they admitted, you know, you're on set for 90 hours. You're exhausted. Sometimes things come up. I can understand that. I get tired of folks at work in an 8-hour day.
It happens. It happens. 8 hours can be a lot with some folks.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to listen. I'm
have
the
those
guy.
Cocktails after work.
I had this guy that I used to work with. He got let go, but he used to irk the mess out of me. He was a actually champion, and I just used to mess with him just because.
The worst.
But you know, we would get into it in an 8-hour day.
Yeah.
2016. Sarah Jessica Parker goes to Instagram. She posts a message for Kim, you know, happy birthday on her birthday, blah, blah, blah. Then the next month, she talked about the response to the birthday post at Time. And people were like, oh, wow, we didn't know you guys were friends. Because this whole time we got rumors coming out that there's beef.
Yeah.
And Sarah is trying to deny these the whole time. Right? So then she gets asked again on Howard Stern. And then, let's see, 2017, they were trying to do a third Sex and the City movie, but Kim Cattrall had already said, I'm not doing another one.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So then they come up, Kim Cattrall talks to Piers Morgan, and she said Parker could have been nicer about the demise of the Sex and the City 3 movie.
Yeah.
And now this moment is quite extraordinary to get any kind of negative press about something I've been saying for almost a year of no, and that now I'm demanding or a diva. So all of a sudden this stuff comes up. Where did it come from? Cattrall is intimating that it came from Sarah Jessica Parker, right?
Yes. Which, I mean, she is. She was an executive producer, I want to say, on both movies.
Right.
And her best friend replaced Kim's good buddy as executive producer on the show Sex and the City.
Right.
So it would not surprise me that the EP is leaking stuff to the press like, yo, this bitch is tripping. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Absolutely. No. Yeah. And so we get to 2018. Now, sadly, Kim Cattrall's brother dies.
Yeah.
Right? So then Sarah Jessica Parker is on like a red carpet kind of a thing set for a show, and she's like, oh, yeah, I sent out my condolences, da-da-da. So Cattrall comes back, and she posts on Instagram. Why people post stuff on Instagram?
I'm trying to understand why that's the place for these sort of
Why is that the place? We can unpack that in a little bit. I quote, my mom asked me today, when will that at Sarah Jessica Parker, that hypocrite, leave you alone? So she tagged her in it. Your continuous reaching out is a painful reminder of how cruel you really were then and now, Cattrall wrote in her Instagram caption. Let me make this very clear. If I haven't already, you are not my family. You are not my friend.
Listen.
Then she added, so I'm writing to tell you one last time to stop exploiting our tragedy in order to restore your nice girl persona.
That nice white woman shade.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey,
the nice nasty.
This
she gave
was,
it to her.
Listen, this was nasty. Like, Kim was fed up. And I actually had a conversation off screen, and Revolution brought up, you know, she's in the middle of this emotional tragedy. So this was almost no filter. I would say no filter if it was an interview and someone asked her about it and she snapped back. But I want to know, have you ever posted anything, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, that after you posted it, you were like, oh man, I didn't mean to write that?
Most definitely.
Really?
Most definitely.
That happens? That's never happened to me.
I'm a lot better about it now than I was before. And
Explain
it wasn't
that
something
situation
that I did
to
a
me.
lot. So I don't typically get very angry. It takes a lot to get me to a certain place. But the last time I remember doing it was because someone had just really taken me to a level that was like, I could not handle it. So I took and I wrote a post on Facebook. It was a Substack. The person knew exactly what I was getting at, and they, responded the way that they did. So they hit me up via text. and said something about it. But that was what I felt was like a good recourse at the time, because this person is also social media messy. So I was like, well, they're probably going to post something about me. So let me post first. And it was all stupid. I shouldn't have done it.
Okay, you shouldn't have done it, but
yeah.
did you post it on accident?
It
was a written and I'm sure edited, as you are a talented writer and editor.
It was very intentional.
Absolutely.
Every word was chosen for a reason.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And then you hit that send on purpose. I've never one time typed something and then hit send and I'm like, oh my God, what did I just... Now, there have been many times in my life when I've been talking to somebody, I'm like, shit, why did I just say that?
And you want to catch the words.
Where did that come
from? It already fell out your mouth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to give her so much of that emotional credit because she posted it on Instagram.
Oh, no, I'm not going to give her that. And then furthermore, when you start to read about the nature of their relationship and how strained it's been from the beginning, this is years of built up shit that she's had against this woman.
So I'll give her the credit that she was professional in the past because it was making her money. Yeah. But now that she's not going to be making no more money because she's decided she doesn't want to be a part of this franchise anymore, she's like, well, fuck it. I got nothing else to lose.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And she's in her 60s. And not to make this like an age thing, but when you get to be a certain age, it's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm going to say what I want to say.
So should he? What's that?
Kim Cattrall. Yeah. She looks fantastic.
That's good. Hey, listen, I'll get with a white woman if she look like that at 60.
Hey, she's taking care of herself. That's that. This is the not giving a fuck. When you don't give a fuck, you look good.
Okay.
Because you're getting all of that off your chest. Right, you're not carrying it around.
I've been watching her since Mannequin, so.
Yes.
Police Academy.
Since
Police Academy.
She's doing good out here. She's doing good.
Yes, absolutely. I grew up with Kim Cattrall. So my question to you is, should she have just let that go?
Oh, about the Sarah Jessica
should
Parker
she have done that post?
Honestly, I'm not here to police her. I think she did what she felt was best for her at the moment. I don't know that I would have done it, but I guess she just wanted to set the record straight. Because there's nothing more frustrating than when you know who somebody is, you know what they're about, and they want to purport to be something else to the public, and then to use your thing. So she just lost her brother, so it's like you want to use this as a little thing to help fulfill this image of you as this nice girl, when I know you're not. I know you to be a certain way to me, and you're not. Like you said, she's been professional this whole time. She's been cool about all the stuff. They got a house. They got a girl's house. Right. All the girls is in the house. Kim wasn't in the house. Right. You need to find other arrangements because we don't want you staying with us. Mean Girls. Mean Girls.
Yeah, so that was and she said it as a Mean Girl culture.
Yeah.
In that whole little what they always call was a family.
Her. Yeah, because it could have been way worse. It could have been way worse. So. Yeah.
That's true. So I guess I've been told to bring this up from the producers. Impact of Sex in the City on black women. Is there an impact of Sex in the City on black women? Does that exist?
No.
Okay.
Not really. Not really. I remember watching it when I was younger just because it would be on. Nah, it wasn't anything that I related to. And if you bring it to modern day, like the show Girls, I probably watch half an episode. Can't get into it. It's not my jam.
Do you ever go to brunch with your homegirls?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And have drinks and
lots
gossip?
of mimosas. My friends know I love bottomless mimosas.
Okay. Where'd that come from?
My heart.
Where'd that come from?
Where did the brunch thing come from? I really don't know. I think it's just something that, when you start making money, if none of us are rich.
Right.
By any stretch of the imagination, but you get a tiny bit of disposable income. Rich in spirit, I'm gonna accept that. But you get a tiny bit of disposable income. You wanna go brunch with your friends. It's like honestly, I think it's something we picked up like some bougie black people shit. Like,
well, but they did that like on every episode. So
they did. So maybe by default, maybe the bougie black women that I looked up to were watching this, and then that came down to me. But that was
the impact on black women was brunches.
And shoes.
What a contribution.
Manolo Blahniks.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I can't forget about the Manolo Blahniks because everybody knew what that was because Sarah Jessica Parker, completely unrealistic. Let's just put that out there. I read an article today and they pointed out her character Carrie made $4.50 a word from the stuff that she wrote for Vogue. Somehow has a closet full Manolos, living in this fancy apartment. And I'm just like, how? And she caught cabs everywhere. Completely unrealistic.
$4.50 a word?
But she wasn't even writing that much.
They didn't show her writing that much. I guess they implied that she was...
They implied that she was working, but I never really saw her work.
I'm going to pull this calculation real quick.
So let's say she's doing like a 2,500 word piece. Which, no, it wasn't even that. Because wasn't she writing like a column? She was writing like a column.
I mean, if she wrote 1,000 words, that's $4,500. And I needed my calculator to come up with that.
A month that's not covering her brunches, her cabs, the shoes, her rent.
That's why she would always get with these guys who had money.
Yep. Yes, they was funny.
So she was fucking for the meals and the shoes.
Mr. Big, right?
Big,
and I didn't know that. And I never watched
and he was
a single episode.
He was a baller.
I didn't watch a single episode, but she got with Mr. Big. And
okay.
Big money.
So, that fulfills the financial quotient. Because I'm like, you get grown and you watch this stuff like, how?
Yeah.
How is she surviving?
Yeah. Absolutely. So, all right. Yeah. So, we're going to move on. I know we're not supposed to talk about this, but there's another picture of them. Go ahead. Oh, no, it wasn't. That was the second picture?
That was it.
So, we're going to talk about this chick. So, I chose this picture because
oh, man.
Amy Schumer is not funny. All right. We got that out there. Amy Schumer fancies herself this relatable chubby chick, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of her thing with, I can get away with stuff because I'm a down-to-earth, not attractive, da-da-da-da-da. Which
she really
maybe
plays that up.
Right, she plays that up. And maybe there was a point in her life where that was true, right? Yeah. But you get on the cover of Vogue. I wonder if Carrie wrote an article on this one. You get on the cover of Vogue with this glam look, and speaking of whitewashed, look at the face. That's a whitewashed face, if I ever did see one.
She is
even Amy Schumer isn't that white.
She's white.
I am.
Like a sculpted marshmallow.
Sculpted marshmallow. That's it right there.
I can't do picture boy. Because certain things, when you say it, like, I get the imagery in my head, and I'm not going to be able to get that out. Like, I'm not going to be able to forget that.
That's it. That is the description. So, she is the sculpted marshmallow, and she decides she's going to do a movie on beauty. Right? Yeah. It's called I Feel Pretty.
I Feel Pretty.
And so in this movie, she plays this girl who's, I guess, homely looking or whatever it's supposed to be. And then she hits her head or something, and then she looks in the mirror and she's beautiful. But but the twist is she hasn't changed at all. Like it's not one of those things where she's seeing herself like Shallow Hal.
Yeah, no.
Where she sees, it's just she is the exact same person. She just sees herself in a different perspective.
Yeah.
Which, as far as beauty right now and what's happening, I like the concept of it, right?
Yeah, it's not a bad concept.
But
first
of all, it's kind of who it's coming from.
It's exactly who it's coming from.
Speak on it.
That's the biggest issue. So I saw the trailer, and I thought, oh, this is an interesting concept for a movie. And what prompted me was on Twitter, everybody was going off about it. Yeah. And somebody said, so basically this is about a movie about a white woman hitting her head and getting the attitude of a white man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you see yourself just way
now
more
we talk
superior.
about the effect on black women. Let's talk about the effect of Amy Schumer on black women, because black women do not
we do not rock with her
at all
for several reasons. One, like you pointed out, she is not funny. She's not funny. And you know what? I can't even really be mad at Amy for playing the game. She is getting all the money.
Yeah, and she plays both sides.
It's out there. Go ahead and get it. Like, Hollywood is so ass backwards. It makes absolutely no sense. I saw the movie and I thought of, what if Hollywood took a cue, got a clue, and did a concept like that with an actual funny black woman comedian. There were several people that I thought of, because when you think about like what's like your basic standard of beauty, or somebody who is just like, you can't debate whether or not they're attractive. Like, they just pretty much, fare well across the board.
Right.
There are a lot of women that don't do that because they have, not that they're unattractive, but they're just not the type that like 98% of people are gonna fawn all over them.
They're not the standard of beauty.
No, they're not the standard of beauty. So I thought about some black female comedians.
Please give
who
give
would
the list.
actually be pretty decent in a role like that.
Okay.
You take somebody like Cheryl Underwood, Adele Givens.
Okay, well.
Those were two of the ones that mainly came to mind. And also Leslie Jones. I like Leslie. Leslie's loud as fuck, but I love her. Absolutely love her. She is going through this whole thing. Like, I don't know if you saw on Twitter where she made a stat about sometimes I feel like I might die alone because like she doesn't have like anybody in her life right now romantically. So then all these people were commenting like, "Oh, girl,
wonder if she's looking for a black man."
I think she is.
Leslie?
You might need to hit her up. You might need to hit her up, slide in them DMs. You know, she seems like she's a really fun time. Like she'd be somebody that really cool to kick it with.
Yes.
So long story short,
We have something in common. We both worked for Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. See, there you go.
She got paid for it though.
Listen, you were in the room.
I was in the room.
You were in the room. Not many people can say they were in the room. That's all that matters.
I had a seat at the kids' table.
Yes. Hey. That's a step. One step in the right direction. Okay. So long story short, I think that it's really played out and it's really lame. Like, I'm so tired of this narrative of the unattractive, homely white chick and, oh, I'm so dorky and look at me just be dorky. And then all of a sudden things work out for me. Yeah. Like, I think it's played out and I think it would be like a whole lot more interesting to see somebody else play a role like this, somebody who actually has these issues as far as
so let's bring someone that you know, all you don't have to do is, you know, sculpt the mellow and do their hair, and then all of a sudden they're believable,
they're passable,
they're passable. Bring somebody, I mean, because you know the typical thing is glasses and hair in a ponytail, and you take the glasses out and you tease the hair, put a little makeup. It's like, oh my God, she's beautiful.
That's it. And I'm so tired of that trope. Like, we've been doing that. It's been done. Absolutely. It's been done. Like, we need something else.
So I think we both agree that this was miscast. It probably is a badly written movie. I'm just going to say it right there. I think it was going to be horrible.
I know it's going to be horrible.
It was miscast. Yeah. To give it any sort of a chance at success, this movie's going to bomb. I am predicting this movie is going to bomb, and I am here for that.
I'm here for it also, because then maybe something will happen that will just like pop in somebody's head. Like, we need to do something else.
Well, her Netflix failed. If this movie fails, maybe we won't be investing so much in Schumer.
Maybe not.
And we won't have to see her and her stupid friend anymore.
Maybe not, because there are other people to invest in. That's just the thing.
Who are funnier, who are more creative.
All of that.
I love Trainwreck. I thought that was a great, funny movie, but that's the only thing I've ever seen that I liked.
Yeah, and I did not watch that.
No,
I did not watch that. I don't.
Good.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, see, this is the homely look. She's got a horrible shirt, and that's it. Like, she doesn't. They didn't even do the glasses on her.
No,
nothing.
they didn't. So lazy.
They didn't try. So
lazy. I am, however, I am happy to see Sashir Zamata has a cameo or a small role in this movie.
Yes,
that's good for me.
As one of her friends.
Yeah,
right?
that works for me. Yeah.
That's they could have
one
put her
little
in
caveat. They could have. That probably would have been interesting.
Yeah.
But you know what? I never really got very much from her on SNL, so I don't even know, like, is she funny? Like, I have no idea. Like, they never put her in anything.
Okay, but Amy ain't funny, so
she's not. But you know how it is with black people. Mm-hmm. You can't be. We did this. We did it. White mediocrity, black excellence. Like, you got to be super good.
See, that's what they should have done. They should put her in there and have some white guy chasing after her and loving her. She doesn't have to get with him.
That's on trend right now.
She doesn't have to get with him.
That's on trend.
Right. She doesn't have to get with him. She can carve him, but have him be obsessed over her and just piss everybody off. Like, piss the Egyptologists and the
and the hotels at the same time.
Yes, and
unity.
That's the movie I'm
Make it
writing.
happen.
And I'll go ahead and cast your girl in it just because she just was there.
Yeah.
So last topic, real quick, Ebony. Did you see what's going on with Doritos?
I saw that. So, Lady Doritos, it was the thing. It became a thing that wasn't really a thing.
Yeah.
Like, this is another reason why you have to read. Reading is fundamental.
Yes.
You have to dig a little bit deeper. Mm-hmm. So, apparently, there was some market research that was done. Mm-hmm. Doritos was trying to figure out okay, we notice women don't like this about the snack, they don't like that. What can we change up? Somehow or another, this all got, formed into this thing that's Lady Doritos. And they were like, Doritos is like, we never said that. We never did that.
Right.
I don't know where it came from.
They had protests.
Yeah.
There were women protesting places.
I don't know any of
about
these
the
women.
gender inequality that comes from Doritos doing market research on how people snack.
So let's just unpack that one for a little while, for a second.
Go ahead.
Let's
unpack
do that.
it. Quickly though, not for a little while.
Not for a little while because
go.
it is pretty pointless. This is the thing, though. I have an issue. I have absolutely nothing wrong with activism. I have nothing wrong with protesting. They are foundational to our democracy. Great stuff. However, if you have enough time on your hands to go and protest damn Doritos,
Exactly.
you need a life. You have way too much time on your hands. I'm sure all your bills are covered.
But you know who was protesting?
All of that. Who?
White women.
Of course it was. Like,
So,
that doesn't
here we
surprise
go.
me.
Here we
They
go
probably had on
again.
the pink pussy hats out there protesting the Doritos, and then it turns into this whole thing.
Listen, white women.
It's crazy.
Listen,
Get it together.
You're not an oppressed group.
No.
You're not. Like, in general, you are not.
They're grasping for straws. I'm like, you want it so bad. You need something to identify with. So Doritos today, we're dying on the Dorito hill.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Hey,
It's sad. I
do you
feel
have,
bad
do you have
for
anything
them.
else to say about all this crazy? Hey, listen.
Listen.
I love my mom. I love my sister, but they fall outside of the majority of the white women that have too much time on their hands and that have this agenda of we are underserved. We need to join as women, but then you don't want to help out nobody else. The actual underserved women, as in the one that I'm sitting across from, who could tell you stories that would make your hair curl.
Yeah.
About shit she's been through.
I'm not
but
dying
you
on the
mad
Dorito
about
hill.
Doritos.
Not doing that.
They're trying to market to you for Doritos, and if you don't like them, don't buy them.
Don't buy the fucking Doritos. Don't buy the fucking Doritos. Don't do it.
I am J. Cole. This is Ebony, the writer. Thank you so much for coming on, Ebony. It was a pleasure sharing screen time with you.
Anytime.
It was a pleasure discussing this with the FCN community. We appreciate you guys taking time out to spend with us today. Coming up next at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Speak On It with Nikila Shannon and Stacey Majors as they talk love, relationships, and having a good time. Thank you guys for tuning in. Tomorrow we got Prime News, 7 p.m.-ish. And our regular week schedule coming up. I'm not going to run through the whole thing. You know it. You saw the commercial. Check out our YouTube channel. Check out our Facebook channel. It'll tell you exactly what and when is coming on. We got so much for you. Have a good weekend. We love you. Peace out.